Hello and welcome to the video for page 4 and 5 of the Preliminary A Piano Workbook of the K-Music and Design Workbook series. In this video, I will be demonstrating how to complete pages 4 and I'll be giving you a quiz on page number 5. Make sure to pay attention so that you're ready for the quiz. Here on page 4 we have the grand staff. At the top, that fancy little design on the left is called the treble clef. And right below the treble clef with those 2 dots is called the bass clef. The standard staff has 4 spaces and 5 lines. You may have noticed that the grand staff that I'm using has 6 spaces and 5 lines. I have added the additional lower and higher space for learning purposes. The placement of these circles, also known as notes, is how we read music. Let's start by finding which notes correspond in the spaces of the treble staff. First, we're going to be spelling a 4-letter word, face. We will be coloring each letter the same color as we have been in previous videos and previous pages. If you haven't already, check out my previous videos for the Preliminary A Piano Workbook, as these videos will be beneficial to your learning of this page. Let's start by finding that 4-letter word, starting with an F. Remember that F is our yellow, so let's color in space 1 of the treble clef, yellow F. The next letter in our 4-letter word is A on space 2 of the treble clef. Let's color this one orange. The third letter of our 4-letter word is our C on space 3 of the treble clef, pink. And the last letter of our 4-letter word is the E on space 4 of the treble clef. Let's go ahead and color the E blue. So here's our 4-letter word to help us remember what spaces are in the treble clef. The word face, F-A-C-E. Let's quickly jump down to the bass staff to see if we can find that same 4-letter word. Starting with our F. This time, our word has been shifted down 1 space. We will be starting the word face on space 0. So let's go ahead and color in the F yellow, A orange, C pink, and E blue. Now that we found our word, let's take a look at those remaining spaces. Let's go back up into our treble clef. Space 0 is our red D. Later on in the video, I will be showing you an alphabetical trick to remember that space 0 is a D. The same trick will apply when we go all the way up to the top of the treble staff. Space 5, our G. Let's color this one green. Now that we know our space 5 in our treble staff is a G, let's use a little trick to jump down to find the G in our bass clef. Let's do a little math. Space 5 minus 1 staff jump from the treble clef to the bass clef equals 4. So that's 5 minus 1 equals space 4. Let's color in our green G that jumped from our space 5 in the treble staff to space 4 in the bass staff. In a little bit, I will be showing you the alphabetical trick to find our remaining space. But for now, let's color in the bass staff space 5 purple, our letter B. Now that we found all of our spaces on the grand staff, let's switch over to finding all of our lines. To find the letter names of each line, there is the standard acronym of Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. The first letter of each word tells us which note is on each line. You may choose to form your own sentence to help you remember which letter goes on what line. For this video, we will be learning the alphabetical trick. But for now, let's start by coloring line 1 blue, the letter E. Next, line 2, green, letter G. Line 3, our letter B. Do you remember what color it is? Purple. Very good. Next up, you guessed it, line number 4, our red D. Our last line of the treble staff, line 5, yellow F. Let's use that previous mathematical trick to jump from the treble staff to the bass staff. Starting on line 5F. So line 5 minus 1 staff jump equals line 4. Let's color our yellow F on line number 4 of the bass staff. Moving down, our line 4D of the treble staff. 4 minus 1 equals line 3 of the bass staff, our red D. Looking back at the treble staff, line 3, our purple B. 3 minus 1 equals 2. So line 2 in the bass staff is our purple B. Continuing to move down, line number 2, G, in the treble staff. Minus 1 staff jump equals line 1 in the bass staff. Another green G. Now you may be noticing that we haven't colored in line 5 of the bass staff. Let's learn that alphabetical trick to find the last 2 remaining notes. We know that the bass staff starts with the word face on space 0. To make things a little bit more easier, let's move up to space 1, our A, the beginning of our musical alphabet. I'm going to be using a blue line to show how the alphabetical trick moves along the grand staff. Starting at the A, moving to the next letter in the musical alphabet, our B, then to C, D, E, F, G. If you've seen the previous video, the workbook introduction, you will know that the alphabet stops at G and starts again. Let's go ahead and take away that blue line and color in line 5 of the bass staff, our orange A. In the middle of the grand staff, you may have noticed that there's a floating line with a note on it. This note is the most important note of the musical alphabet, our pink C. So let's color that one in. Before we move on to page 5, the Grand Staff Quiz, let's take another look at the alphabetical trick and see if all of our notes line up with the musical alphabet. We will be starting on the F this time in the bass staff. Moving to the next letter in the musical alphabet, our G. And starting our alphabet all over again, A to B, C in a zigzag pattern, D, E, F, G, A, B, crossing over to our C, crossing over all the way to the treble staff, and going back to our zigzag pattern from the D, E, F to the G, beginning again at A, B, C, D, E, F, and finishing off our grand staff with the last letter of the musical alphabet, G. Here's an example of how the notes would look if they moved in a vertical motion instead of the zigzag pattern. Starting at our F to the G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, that floating line C, and it lines up nicely with our D, and if we kept on going up, we would end off with our G. Great! Now that we know how to find the musical notes of the grand staff, let's flip over to page 5 and have a little quiz. It's completely up to you how you would like to indicate where the note I'm asking is on your paper. I will be coloring in the answer to each question. Let's start with the most important note in music, the C. Now there are 3 C's on the grand staff. Let's start with that floating ledger line. Next, let's find the C in the bass staff and in the treble staff. If you got at least one of these correct, well done. Where are the B's and how many are there? If you're using the alphabetical trick and starting on the letter A in the bass clef, we can find the next letter in the diagonal, our B. Continuing on the alphabetical trick, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let's see if there's any B's in the treble staff. Continuing to use our alphabetical trick. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let's see if we can find a few more. Where are all of our red D's? In the treble staff, we have 2 D's, one at the top and one at the bottom. In our bass staff, we have 1 red D in the middle. Great! Now let's see if you can find all of the blue E's. Again, we have 2 in the treble staff, 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom, and 1 in the middle of our bass staff. Let's bounce back to the beginning of the alphabet and find all of our orange A's. Starting with our only treble clef A, jumping down to the bass staff at the top and at the bottom. Let's jump to the other side of the alphabet and find all of our green G's. I'll give you a hint. There are 4 green G's. There are 2 green G's in our treble staff, 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Same thing goes for our bass staff. There's 1 G at the top and 1 G at the bottom. Lastly, can you tell me what the last letter is that we have not found yet? Leave it in the comments below. The last note is our yellow F's. There are also 4 yellow F's. I'm going to be keeping the green G's up on the screen to help us find our yellow F's. When we use our alphabetical trick, we moved forwards in the alphabet. A, B, C, D, and so on. The trick also works backwards. D, C, B, A. Let's use this trick to find all of our yellow F's. Starting at the very top and the last letter of our musical alphabet, the G. Moving backwards to the next letter, F. Then continuing the alphabetical trick backwards, we move to our letter E. Then to D, C, B, A. Starting over at the end of the alphabet, G, to F, coloring in that yellow F, and continuing to our E, D, crossing over to the C, continuing to the B, all the way over to that A, and starting that diagonal again. G, F, moving backwards again to our E, D, C, B, A, G, and the last one at the bottom of our base staff, the last yellow F. Well done! If you even got one of those right, good for you! You've now completed the page 5 quiz. If you got all of those notes right, wow, well done! If there are a few you weren't sure of, make sure to go back and re-watch this video, and try again. There's a lot to learn, and it takes time. You're doing great. To further help you learn and remember where the notes are on the grand staff, you can try creating your own grand staff and coloring it in, then jumping back to the video to see how you did. Another fun way to help learn and memorize the grand staff is to teach family and friends, and quiz each other. If you have your page 5 fully colored in, this is how it will look with all of the correct answers colored in. Well done! You've now completed page 4 and page 5 of the Preliminary A Piano Workbook of the K-Music and Design Workbook series. Make sure to check out my other videos to learn more about musical theory. Thank you for including me on your musical journey. Happy learning!